In today's tutorial, we're learning how to make this poster in Canva in just a few minutes. Let's jump into Canva and see how we do it. Now first we want to change the background color. So I'm going to select the canvas, go to background color and scroll all the way down until I have the gradients. Choose one, doesn't matter which one, and then scroll up again. Now we choose the color wheel, and here we want to change the direction so we have it coming from the top left side. Now we want to change the order of the color so we have the light coming from the top and the darker portion at the bottom. I think that will look nicest. Now we're going to change the colors a bit more towards a yellow tone and repeat that for like a beige yellow tone for the darker version as well. And now we're going to add our image to the slide. Now here we can see that it's not very nice with the white background, so I'm going to use the background remover. And once that is applied, you have a nice image without a background, so that's pretty good to work with. We're going to increase it just a bit, and we're going to add some shadow effect to it. So it's a little bit of a distance between the layers. So we're going to edit, shadows, and here add a drop shadow. We can play around with the blur amount. We can increase it a bit so it's not too harsh. And also with the angle, I'm going to adjust it so it comes from the same angle as the light on the background. And for the distance, we can reduce that. Let's do it around 40 points. Same with the intensity. If you want more or less, you can adjust that here. Now maybe let's change the background color a bit so it matches the colors more of the bottle itself. So I'm going to use the color picker, take one of the colors, and I'm going to do the same for the darker ones and try to get one of these darker tones in the bottle, just like this, and maybe play around until I have a result that looks good. There we go. Now we're going to add some text to the slide, so I'm going to add a title, and here let's type in the brand, so check, increase it in size. And for the fonts, you can go for a font that matches the brand itself, or you can choose whichever one you like. I kind of like this Futura display font. So it's quite a bold font and that works really well with this sort of effect. So let's increase that. Let's copy and resize and do Daniels. And then we're going to position it underneath and enlarge it while holding the Option or the Alt key to make it just as large as the previous one, or just as wide. And then let's do whiskey. Again, if it overflows to a new line, you just expand it and hold Alt or Option and make it the same height. Select those three, and we're going to add some transparency to it. Maybe the color, you want to go for more of a dark brown tone, so it matches with the brand a bit better. And then position and send to back, so it's behind all of the other graphics. Select everything, and then you can play around with the size of both the letters, or as well select the bottle and increase that one in size. You can always adjust the crop marks to make it easier to select and position. I think this looks quite good. Now we're going to do the finishing elements, and for that we go to elements and here type in Rye. Go to photos, and here we want to look for a selection of pictures that would really match the aesthetic that we want to go for. So let's say this one. It doesn't have a background, so that's perfect. If you have one with a background, you can just remove it. And let's position it here, turn it a bit, so it drops in from the top. And the shadow is already added, so we don't need to add an extra one. It already looks quite natural, and that's what we want. Let's see if we can find some more. Maybe some more of a grain texture. That will be good. Let's see what we can find. Maybe if we refine it with right grain. You can always select one of the grains here, and if you select them, they will add, and you can have some magic recommendations to have multiple. And let's add one to the slide. So here we can see it has a white background, so what we're going to do is background remover to have a clean feel of the grains. I'm going to position it somewhere at the bottom, so that it sort of overlaps with the text. That would be nice. And now if it goes over the bottle, that doesn't look very realistic, so I'm going to select an object, go to position, layers, and drag it underneath the bottle, but still above the text. So that it's still, if we zoom in, it sort of spills over the text, and I kind of like that touch to it. And now this already looks pretty good, but what I like is the bottle itself. The colors don't really match perfectly with the rest of the image. I think it doesn't look very realistic yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit, adjust, and I'm going to play around with the settings of the bottle. So play around with the contrast, with brightness. It still should jump out, but if we play with the settings and reduce the whites maybe a little bit, increase the blacks, it will start to look more realistic on the bottle itself or on the poster. And that's what we want to create. So if you go to the extremes, it will totally look fake. If you go to the other side, it will look black and white. But sometimes you can just tweak it with 1 or 2 points and really get that effect that you want to create. So I'm going to do it like this until we have the look that for me it feels natural. And if we now export this, share, download, PNG, and then save, we can now save this on our computer. And then we can go to a new design. Let's do a presentation. And we go to apps, mockups, select the mockups app. And here we go for example, outdoor print design. And we take one of those. We just drag it in place or select it, add it to the slide. Let's increase it just like this. And then we drag in our export of the image and we place it on top of the image and it will snap into place and create a really cool effect. Now let's put that on full screen. And this is how you make this really cool poster design with the multiple layers. And I kind of like this layer effect where you have the text, the grains, and the object itself in the center. And that really gives a cool, intriguing design to your poster. Thanks a lot for watching. If you want to learn more about Canva, make sure to watch the video on the screen right now.